Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another round of Scottish Gin. We actually have Nigel and Beverley, who are officially 50% of 25% each, totaling 50% of the Gael Spirits Company, who make the Gale gin. So I know they've got a really interesting story about the brand. And obviously, we're tuning in, we're chatting with them to learn a little bit more about the people and the product, and just in general what these guys have been up to of late. So, on that note, we'll bring them in. Are you there, guys?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are here. Hello. Hi.
I love that you're branded and everything. You've made the effort.
Oh, we just made the effort, yes. Just a normal evening at home.
Yeah, do you wear it every night? Of course, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with us.
So,
Pleasure.
No problem. It's lovely to do so.
And we did meet you actually at the Mansfield Tracker last year, didn't we?
Yes,
yes,
I know. It seems ages ago, doesn't it? Such a long time ago.
It does. I think it feels longer than it would have ordinarily, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I know we've obviously got a number of questions for you. For those that might not know anything about the brand, what can you tell us about the significance of? I touched on it there, but the significance of the Gale part of your brand.
Okay. The Gale is a tune, actually written originally for the fiddle by a musician called Dougie MacLean. Now, Dougie happens to be the father of Jamie, who's one of our partners in the business too. Yeah. And it was just one evening we were all together, mostly Nigel and Jamie, having a few drinks, talking about things, seeing what we could do. And Nigel had been thinking about producing a gin brand for a while, and it all just grew arms and legs from that, really. And the next thing we know, Dougie said, well, you can call it the Gale if you like. So that's what we did.
Because I imagine it's quite a protected term because it's such a well-known tune.
Yeah, well, certainly he has got all his music side wrapped up, and quite rightly so. And the company actually registered the brand name for spirits within as a trademark.
It's a trademark,
so yeah, hopefully it's as wrapped up as it can be.
Yeah.
And you never know. There's always somebody out there that might try and use it or whatever. It depends on what it is to how strongly we would feel about that.
Yeah, but of course, the fact that there's that family connection is brilliant.
Yes.
Oh yes, no, it is. It makes it all. It really works. Yeah, so it's great. Great. Yeah, great.
Obviously, it's a very well-known piece of music as well.
It is. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it becomes the more you see, because some people sort of don't necessarily know it by name necessarily until they hear it and they go, "Oh, of course I know it." Yes. Yeah.
And most people don't realise it was written for the actual for the opening of the current Loch Ness Visitor Centre back in 1989. That's where it originated from, and then in the early 90s it got picked up by the film Last of the Mohicans, and that's where it sort of became internationally known as a tune. So we are lucky with that.
Yeah, so we're lucky we're allowed to use it. Yes, it definitely helps. Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit more about the people behind the Gael Spirits Company? Because I appreciate there's 4 of you involved in the business. So
that's as well as us. We have Jamie MacLean, Dougie's son, and his partner Tanya. So we split it all quite well between us.
Yeah.
Nigel and I have different backgrounds. We're obviously a lot older as well. They very much are social media techie people. Design.
Jamie MacLean did all the design of the label and things, and he has also done all of our sort of the video that's on our website and things like that.
And the website.
So, and he put that all together. So he's very good at that. And Tanya is excellent at keeping up with social media and doing all that side of it, because I haven't got a clue how that operates. But so it's great having them their side of it, because it just makes, in today's world, it makes life a lot more easier for us to operate as a company.
Yeah. And we both have we have a background in the sort of wines and spirits industry anyway, and Nigel especially, me a little bit. And yes, so our knowledge is on that side, and Nigel's the only one that works full time within the brand, doing the selling. And
you're looking at customers and distribution and exporting and all that good stuff.
Yes, well, basically that's my background. I mean, I've done both buying, so I know how to do all the purchasing side of it, of materials and things. And I also, then when I left my years of buying, I built up a wine company that I sold out to in '99. So that was mainly import into the UK, but exporting isn't that different. It's just the other way around. So it's finding those contacts abroad for us to look to do that, and that will take time.
Of course.
At the moment, we're only just about 18 months old, truly. Through trading terms. So obviously the concentration has been mainly on Scotland to begin with, but we are now moving into further south of the border.
But fantastic experience to have, because from our experience talking to new gin brands, the biggest hurdles and some of the biggest challenges they say they come up against is actually getting their product out there. It's almost like developing the recipe is fun and doing all that, but then actually getting it out there.
The route to market.
The route to market is tough, isn't it?
It's needed to know, and it takes a lot of footwork, I think.
To begin with, it takes a lot of footwork, and actually at the moment it is going to be quite challenging, I would say, for some time, a little time yet. But it's having, if you've got the benefit of the strength of the sort of brand or the story that we've got, that definitely helps us. And it will, but it'd be great to think that you're going to sell hundreds of thousands of cases or bottles tomorrow. That has never happened, whatever industry you're in. So from our view has always been from day one that we will just take every step slowly and learn from, because we will make mistakes and we will learn from those as well. So
well, you certainly have a unique offering, and I know we'll get onto that with some of the other questions about the flavour profile, the process, and so on. But what kind of research went into making the gin?
We wanted a product that reflected Scotland as much as we could do, because that was very important to us. I mean, obviously we're not Scottish, but we've been here for over 20 years, and it's very important to us that that was part of it. And we just tried a lot of other people's gin.
Always good research.
That part was tough.
That was tough, just to get an idea, and a lot of them seemed to be very similar. There wasn't, for all they said, there wasn't a lot of differential taste between them. So it was very much looking at how we could get something that would just taste slightly different, and that's what actually then comes through with the fact that I think obviously it's all part of the taste and flavour that we'll probably talk about, but it's our base spirit is made from malted barley, and that makes a big difference, gives it a very different base to start with, and our distilling is quite, not necessarily unique, but it's quite special in the fact that we distill
within the gin market. Actually, I think there's only one other company that distills 5 times, which we do. Most gins are only distilled 2, maybe 3 times.
So that was part of the whole project, and obviously getting the flavour right and what botanicals and things we wanted to go into it. Also, I think we did a lot of research Jamie came up with the idea for the label within days, which we all went, wow, that works. We really didn't actually spend a lot of, I mean, obviously it's been refined, but it was it just seemed to work for us all. We were all very happy and in agreement with it. So it was then trying to find the right bottle, the capsules and everything else that made it work, getting the right colours and how it worked. And then obviously part of finding the right label printers and bottlers and all that stuff. So it was quite a lot of work.
One of the difficulties with the label is because we've got the actual score on the inside of the back label, it's having a bottle that you can actually read that music through. So if you were a musician, somebody could play it.
Yeah, well, and I love that about the bottle, and with the liquid inside, it just looks so good. You can see right through, and I know we've captured. I say we, the royal we, captured a few photos, and if you get it just right, just so it does look beautiful.
And it is the proper. It's not a lot of gobbledygook. It is actually the real tune. The back, so you can play. If you're a musician, you can play it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, did you guys? I know you work with Ricky at Strathleven, and how did you come to know him or meet him?
That goes back to sort of some consultancy work that I was doing for some time,
Yeah.
and I was working on a project, and I wanted a uniquely Scottish gin, or something that was definitively Scottish, perhaps a better way of putting it. And that's when I found that he was actually distilling malted barley. And that gave me the base and things. And then through various conversations, and as we said earlier, talks with Jamie and Tanya, normally at the pub, the whole thing sort of evolved, and it became that. So we then got Ricky to do the distilling for us.
Yeah, brilliant. And sorry, we touched on the flavour profile, but how would you guys, if you were to describe the journey of when you taste the gin, how would you describe it?
Yeah, and I think it's got a very, it has a very, very different nose to practically every gin. A lot of people don't recognise it as gin because it doesn't have a very forward-facing juniper nose at all. That comes because the malted barley the malty creaminess comes across. Yeah. So definitely, I think that's through first. A little citrus and some spice. And definitely a very sort of full, given it's quite a rich, smooth, rich flavour, and a sort of spicy, smooth finish, and a long finish, which comes from the sort of very pure alcohol that's in from the distilling. I think that's how we describe it roughly. Other people might have different ways.
A creamy vanilla.
But a lot of people will get the sort of creaminess on the nose much more, and they go, "I can't smell juniper," and I said, "Well, it's there, and it's definitely there. You can taste it, but it's not anywhere like." You would, you pick up some gins and it's just like, what? It's juniper.
And we noticed that from nosing likes of, I hate to name other brands, but the brands that make their own grain, that make their own base spirit from grain. Sorry, you definitely get that. And there's, like you say, there's only a few, less than a handful, in Scotland. So
I would say your gin's a fantastic gin for whiskey drinkers that are perhaps looking to try a gin for the first time, or to get into a gin, because it's got that lovely barley malty note to it, and it's got a lovely creamy mouthfeel, which is a difficult thing to get.
We wanted to, and as part of what actually Ricky wanted to do as well, was to help to try and produce a premium white spirit that was gin, so that's how it came about. So,
but also through the 5 times distilling, it is actually smooth enough that we get a lot of customers making the comment. You could be drunk neat, i.e. with a lump of ice or a bit of water, as you perhaps would with a dram. Although obviously we are a gin. we are definitely a gin.
And I think it's also because it is then very smooth. You don't get, because of that, you don't get the real harshness that you can get from some. That you get a lot of alcohol, but you get that. Sometimes you get quite a burn in your throat from some gin if you drink them neat. Not that people do, but if they're tasting it, sometimes it's quite harsh. And ours, I think, comes over a lot mellower. Hopefully,
And what are some of the key botanicals in your gin?
Obviously juniper. It actually has a very classic mix of botanicals: cardamom, cassia bark, angelica, coriander.
There's 10 in total, 10, I suppose the thing that we put in that we thought actually added to the Scottishness of it, although it's not unique to Scotland, we put in heather. Which is, and that is the last botanical that goes in, and that botanical is actually macerated in rather than distilled in.
Right. Okay.
And it was quite difficult to actually get the right quantity, the right volume of it. So we did quite a lot of
taste
consumer testing, sort of. Okay, there's this one, and this one. They've all got different levels to see which one came out the most balanced, if you like.
I guess
and it's the heather that also gives it that tiny little greenish tinge that's in the liquid. So although you don't see it when you pour it out, when it's actually concentrated in the bottle, it's got that little bit of colour, goldenly sort of greenish tinge to it. And that comes from the heather.
Yeah. So that the heather isn't part of the 5 times distilled process. It's actually macerated at the end. I didn't know that. Oh well, I've learned something.
It was always something new.
and I guess heather as well. It like you said, it's probably one of those botanicals that if you use too much, your gin would then be dominated by this. It was quite interesting because you think, well, I want to be able to taste the heather without, and it's actually quite a strong botanical. It doesn't need a lot.
No, it doesn't have a lot.
No, it doesn't have a lot. No.
Yeah. And so what have you been, I mean, everything's been up in the air, but what have you guys been, how have things been during lockdown for the brand? I mean,
Different.
Well, a lot of the customer base that we had developed just closed down. But so there was things were still trickling through and still are trickling through. But the biggest saviour was the fact that our website has done well. And so the online sales has picked up. So yes, whilst the trade isn't quite where we wanted it to be or where we hoped, whatever to be, we're still moving forward, and there are still more people becoming aware of us.
And we have a very good PR person in Dougie McLean himself, and he's been doing a series of live concerts online. Started way back at the beginning of lockdown. And at one point was doing every other day, and very occasionally he's happened to play the Gale and mention the gin, so that always helps.
Why not? Captive audience.
I mean, it's a shame that so that definitely we have seen sort of peaks and spikes, when he has mentioned it. Yeah. Unfortunately for us, he has a lot of people have been watching from all over the world. It's been quite amazing. Unfortunately, we haven't got the gin in many overseas markets or any at the moment, really. So.
Or in two.
Or in one, yes, one or two. But so yeah, it's just. But that's been helpful for us too. So that's definitely helped. It's been
Thank goodness.
And we just kept our presence on Facebook and Instagram and just remind people. Really, that's all you can do.
Yeah. No, I think having that e-commerce bit right now is that's just worked. It's just been.
Yeah, and we were lucky, as Nigel said. Ours was already there. So
exactly. Just some brands have come into lockdown, and then it's been we're not selling it ourselves, and I guess that would be a struggle. So,
but interesting enough, it's not just our website that's been doing it. I mean, some of I had got us into two other online people prior to that, and actually their sales have picked up, so we've seen an increase in that. And actually, since lockdown, we've had two other companies come on and put it online as well. So we've seen a growth in that side of it.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. Yeah. And do you guys have any plans to do events? Because I know things are just getting.
Yeah.
Well, we're supposed to have done quite a few over the last few months, but obviously that hasn't happened. Yeah. So as some of these things are getting rescheduled, yes, we're planning to do some of those. Yeah. There's one rescheduled. Well, it's not. We haven't got a date yet, but down in London. And there was another one in Birmingham that's scheduled for next year.
Next March now we were going to do. But we've been part of the Juniper Festival online that Summer Hall Drinks Lab put together. And we did a film and everything for that as well. And we also are doing an online festival with one of our customers up in Pitlochry, Robertson's of Pitlochry, are doing an online festival. So just a little bit more. But yes,
and as things sort of open up, then we'll hopefully get we're doing more in-store tastings and things like that. In particular, locally. When I say locally, Scotland. Yeah. So we'll just have to see what we're allowed to do, because there are there are some difficulties with doing tastings at the moment and things like that. Just because of the safety measures that you need to put in place.
I don't know how it's going to work going forward, really.
No, this is it. And so it's not worth committing to too much, especially when so many things have fallen through already. I mean, at least you can do all these digital events, and that's, I guess hence why you're here today. And
hence what you're doing now. I mean, you've been doing a great job with doing these talks over the evenings.
Well, it's certainly something different, but I actually feel like, and I'm sure a lot of other businesses do feel like, well, this will become more commonplace. This will be something that we'll carry on with, and I'm sure you'll find there'll hopefully just be more and more opportunities to do virtual events and digital events. So
yeah. See what happens. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was your turn to ask a question. We
probably have that problem.
We're waiting for the other one. But so what are the? I know when we met you at the gin fair, you had in Edinburgh, you had said something about someone picking up your gin over in Asia somewhere, and it was after it had been at, I remember that because you said it after it had been at Atlas Bar. But so what are some of the far-flung places that you've seen the Gale being enjoyed?
Well, we've certainly been certainly in the Atlas Bar, and then we've also been in Switzerland.
The top of the mountain in Switzerland,
and a bottle or two,
or three, or
went on tour in Germany.
Okay.
One can guess with who, but so it has moved around.
Scottish tours, and there are some. Although we're not selling in America, we know that bottles have been taken back to America from here. So,
and there are currently samples out in Canada at the moment as well, in Cape Breton, which has a natural link to here because Nova Scotia obviously has its links with Scotland.
Yeah,
So.
of course. Yeah, I have family there, so I can imagine it would be enjoyed. It would be enjoyed there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Atlas Bar, that was great, and they've actually I noticed that they've because there was a number of Scottish gins went over last year, but they've promoted the Gale on social there. So.
No, they've had it. No, they've done it. No, they've been very good. Yes.
Have you guys ever been? Or?
No. Oh, we've been through, but it never stopped there.
I would just that's on our wish list big time. That was just looks like an amazing place. If you like gin,
you'll have to work harder.
Yeah. Yeah, ditto. Okay, you can
we've been as far as the airport, and that's it in Singapore.
Yeah.
And can you maybe tell us something about the Gael Spirits Company that people watching might not know? Is there
well, I think I don't know. We've won some awards in the last year or so. We won a silver award with the Harper's Wines and Spirit Trade magazine for their design of the bottle. And just at the end of last year, in fact, we were asked to sponsor an award in the Scottish Music Awards for the Rising Star of Scotland. So that's awarded by the Gale to a band called Tidelines.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
They're actually doing quite well at the moment. So I suppose that's something that people might not have known about us. Yes. So
the connection to music and
the connection to music came. Yes, that was.
And that's why we decided to, when we were asked about the sponsorship. That's why we got involved with it.
It's okay.
Somebody must be moving outside.
Yes, so the music was. We were asked to sponsor it, and it was a charity event. So yes, it was good to do, really. Apart from that, I don't know.
So we won a silver at the Scottish Specialist Food
Awards as well. We won a silver award for the product there. That was really nice. That was a good boost as well. So I don't know. There's nothing really that people don't know. I think people probably know too much about us, really.
No secrets then. That's good.
No secrets. No, that's right. Yeah.
No, that's good.
I think more the fact is we've said at the very beginning we met years and years ago. We met in the pub, when Jamie and Tanya were probably
not long after we moved up here.
Not after we moved up here. So yeah, we've known them all a long time. So it's not just a new relationship, if you like. It's been one that's been growing over the years. So that's quite good.
It's amazing the amount of sort of people in the spirits industry or gin makers that we've met that have said that where did your idea come from for your business? Over a pint down the pub, or a glass of wine. It seems to be.
I think it was inevitable. We actually ended up. We used to own the Tay Bank in Dunkeld, which was previously owned by Doogie. So that's been all part of our lives for a long time. So a big link, and that's probably the thing that people may not realise, although a lot of people do. So.
I mean, most good ideas in the drinks industry come over a drink of some kind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's we had the idea for the gin cooperative over a gin and tonic, funnily enough. So yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I like gin. I think I might do something with gin.
Yeah, exactly. And it proves to be working.
Yes. So far so good. Touch wood.
Yeah.
No, that's good, and it's a nice sociable. Thing to be involved in, really.
Absolutely, there are. We have to remind ourselves how lucky we are to be in such a fantastic and creative industry.
I do think Scottish gin's quite exciting. There's quite a diverse, dynamic range of people from all walks of life, all backgrounds that have found something they're passionate about, and obviously collectively, everyone wants to make a really good quality premium.
I think also we're actually quite good or some of us, the ones we've met, other companies and things like that, we're as a group trying to promote gin and Scottish gin in particular, working together to do that rather than just all against each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that works nicely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the questions we have for you guys. Thank you so much for the time to chat with us.
I hope that's okay.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Nice to talk to you.
No, that was great. And maybe we'll see you face to face again at an event.
Totally.
sometime in the
in the not too distant future.
And we'll say cheers to you now
Yeah,
with a go.
cheers. Yeah, of course.
Cheers.
I hope you're on there, are you?
Of course they are.
Nice to speak to you both.
Yeah,
Okay.
you too. Take care. Thanks,
You
guys.
too. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
That was great. Thank you to Nigel and Beverley for joining us tonight. As I said, that's 2 out of 4. Jamie and Tanya being the other 2. So I don't know if they drew the short straw or the long straw, but yeah, we that was a pleasure. So keep an eye on social media for who we have coming up next. I think actually after these guys, it's Linden Lime. Ian Sterling from Port Elite Distillery, makers of Linden Lime, will be our next round of Scottish gin. But meantime, take care, and we'll see you soon.
Take care. Cheers.